Our top story this hour is the whistleblower hearing. Acting Director Joseph McGuire testified yesterday. Some tense moments as the acting director of the intelligence, Joseph McGuire, showed some support for the whistleblower, but cautioned Democrats over the impeachment inquiry. Ranking member of the Intel Committee, Devin Nunes, grilled him over who is the source of the White House leaks. Watch this.
I want to make it clear that I have upheld my responsibility to follow the law every step of the way in the matter that is before us today. I want to also state my support for the whistleblower and the rights and the laws.
How would it run in all the mainstream media outlets? How did they get, even though they got a lot of it wrong, but they had the basics of it, that it involved the President of the United States talking to a foreign leader. So did anybody, you or anybody in your office, leak this to the Washington Post or NBC News?
Ranking member, I lead the intelligence community. We know how to keep a secret. As far as how that got into the press, I really do not know, sir.
I just want to make sure, because are we just going to, foreign leaders, why don't I just have either the President of the United States not talk to foreign leaders, or we should just, publish all the transcripts, because that's what's happening here.
Ranking member.
And somebody's leaking this, and it's likely coming from the agencies that you oversee.
Joining me right now is the man himself, California Congressman, ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes. Congressman, so it's a pleasure to see you. Thanks very much for joining us.
With you. Absolutely. Thank you.
So I think you made your point there. This was leaked from inside the government.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time, so it's important for everyone to know that there was a conversation with the Mexican president, a conversation with the Australian Prime Minister, and now you have another leak from inside. This is an inside job of someone who appears to be in the vicinity. It's second and third hand. I think everyone has to remember that, of contents of a phone call that the President of the United States is having with a foreign leader. Remember, all of those conversations are classified, all of them. So how is it that this classified information, somebody who has a clearance thinks it's okay to go around and talk about that?
Yeah.
And so this thing, this really smells, and there's going to have to be a lot that we're going to have to get to the bottom of.
Well, I mean, is there going to be an investigation of how this did get into the press and the leaking?
Well, likely not, unless the FBI is going to do it. And I think that's a fair question, because, we were told that I've asked the DNI if he did it. I asked that yesterday. Did you do it? Did your people do it? No. I asked the ICIG if they did it. They said no. So the only person left is the complainant themselves, so the supposed whistleblower. So if the whistleblowers, has to be him or his people that gave it to the Washington Post. And look, what this looks like, there's a lot of people who knew about this previously. This is information warfare. I think I'm going to copy something that Matt Gaetz says. I know he's been on your show before.
Yes.
And he's super funny, much funnier than I am. But he said that he didn't like the first episode of the Russia hoax, and he sure doesn't like the Ukrainian redux. Okay. So, and I think that's what this is about. This is no different than the Russia hoax. It's the same people, same reporters. And now you're going to have some type of investigation done here in the House of Representatives. I don't know what the Senate is going to do. We had a trial yesterday, public trial for a whistleblower. I've never heard of such a thing, as it relates to classified information. In the Senate, they did it behind closed doors, which is the way it's supposed to be done.
Who is the whistleblower?
Well, I mean, even if we don't know, we haven't been told yet. So we don't know officially. I don't know that we will be told until the whistleblower supposedly wants to come and testify.
But there's some speculation that he works in the CIA, right?
Well, look, once again, where does that break? Mainstream media breaks that.
Right.
We don't talk to the mainstream media, right? I don't do interviews with them. I don't talk to them on background. I give them no information. And I'm quite sure that most of the Republicans, at least that would have knowledge from my committee, do not talk to them either.
Yeah.
So where are they getting this from? They're not getting it from the IC Inspector General. They're not getting it from the Director of National Intelligence.
Right.
They're getting it from someone within that community that's surrounding the whistleblower, who clearly is part of this information operation.
I wonder if part of this is the idea that we all know that the IG is going to be coming out with his FISA abuse report The Inspector General at the FBI is going to come out with the FISA abuse report soon, and this is another way to say, sort of, look over here, nothing to see over there, because we know where the real wrongdoing was in terms of the 2016 election. But let's talk about wrongdoing here. Did the president do something wrong?
No. What happened? Look, I wouldn't go around do it the way I wouldn't say things the way that the president says things sometimes. But he's a New York business guy. You know them well. They talk differently than the rest of us in the United States, and so he's probably treating it as a business decision. Now, look, what does that mean? Number one, he doesn't like the fact that other countries aren't paying their fair share. He doesn't like the United States fronting money to these countries. That's
right.
Number one. Number two, people have to understand that the origins of the Russia investigation begin in Ukraine. Okay, now, this is only slightly in the weeds, but I think most of your viewers know Fusion GPS, the firm that was paid by the Democrats to dig up dirt on the Trump campaign. Most of their dirt, original dirt, if you go back to the so-called Steele dossiers, comes from Ukraine.
I see.
So the president was under this investigation in this cloud for, since late 2015, early 2016.
Yep.
Finally gets cleared by Mueller. Why would he not? I mean, I know that if I was the president and I'm talking to the Ukrainian president, I want to say, hey, what's going on over there? Why did all your people give all this dirt to these bad guys on me?
Right.
I'd like to know what you know.
Yeah.
So I think he has every right to ask the president of Ukraine what was going on over there
so
at that
once
time.
Again,
and by the way, Maria, don't forget.
Yeah.
That was about the 2016 election.
I was just going to say.
I thought we all wanted to know about the 2016
I was just going to say, once again, the origins of the Russia probe, the origins as to why the FBI decided that Donald Trump had anything to do with Russia meddling in the election, comes into focus on this as well. So this has been needling the president now for the 2.5 years that the country was in hysterics over collusion, and he's asking the president of Ukraine what the heck is going on over there, because it's still bothering him that he had 3 years of having to be on defense because they put him in the Russia meddling story.
Yeah, and don't forget, this is if you look at the Russia hoax, 1.0.
Yeah.
This is the sequel. Same players, same people, intelligence agencies leaking to press, same reporters, same politicians here in Washington that are oh my God, this is crazy. And look, they want to use this for impeachment. Russia hoax is dead. They've basically, this is metamorphed into something they can use and say, oh, see, now we're going to use Ukraine.
Well, what was Adam Schiff saying yesterday? I mean, Adam Schiff, the chairman of your committee now, came up with his own version of events and his own, download of what the president said to the Ukraine president. Let's listen to that. I got to get your reaction. Here it is.
Okay. All right.
This is the essence of what the president communicates. We've been very good to your country, very good. No other country has done as much as we have. But you know what? I don't see much reciprocity here. I hear what you want. I have a favor I want from you, though. And I'm going to say this only 7 times, so you better listen good. I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent, understand lots of it, on this and on that.
So was that all made up?
Yeah, I don't know. When I was sitting there, I don't know. I couldn't see the screen, but my colleagues and I kept listening to that, and that went on and on. You only played a short part of that. That went on for about a minute and a half.
But it's not what was in the transcript, though, is what I'm saying.
It's not real. It's fabricated. It's fabricated. So it's not real. It's not what was said. And then later, I'm sitting there looking at my colleagues. We're going, wait, what's going on? And then later, after we called him on it and said that's not what was in the phone call, that is not what was in the transcript, he comes back later and says, oh, it was a parody. Well, only in the Democrats' fantasy lands is that parody. This is a serious issue. They want to impeach the president of the United States. They're accusing him of crimes, and then you fabricate nonsense. Okay, that's what they did yesterday. That was all nonsense, what you just played. None of that happened. And then you come back and say, once you get busted on it, you say, oh, it's just parody. Oh, let's laugh about it. No,
unbelievable.
Nobody's laughing. This is not funny.
Was there?
And this is causing major problems in in this country.
I want to get back to the wrongdoing and where there was wrongdoing. Did Joe Biden do anything wrong?
Well, that needs to be investigated. So, we've also, it's not just President Trump that's been trying to get information from Ukraine. We have too. We have long wanted to know who were Fusion GPS's sources. Okay, so we've been trying to track that information down. There's been some reporters who have been out there trying to get this information for the last year or so. And that's John Solomon, who's been on your show before. He's done a great job of looking into Ukraine.
Yes, he has.
This ought to tell some people a lot. Okay, when he's breaking this news, you've got the Republicans looking to try to find this information as what are the origins of the Russia probe. You've got some reporters, a few, not very many, you and a few others covering this. Now, all of a sudden, this gets concocted about Ukraine. Nobody wanted to know about Ukraine before. Remember, Ukraine were the good guys. Yeah. Russia was the bad guys. Now you've got now, if you believe they're only in their fantasy land, could they turn around and say, oh, well, now Trump actually favors the Ukrainians, not Putin?
Unbelievable.
Okay? The mainstream media didn't want to know anything about Ukraine. Now they want to know everything about Ukraine. So look, this is a joke, but it's a serious one. It's a serious joke.
Is this going to affect the president? Is the president going to be forced from office, in your view? And what do you think viewers and voters are going to take away from this whole thing? Because, you just connected the dots for me, and it was really important that all of the beginning, the origins of the Russia probe started in Ukraine. That is such a big, important point, and I'm glad you made it. Is the president in any jeopardy?
No, because, look, the reason he was in jeopardy last time is because they ran an information warfare campaign. You had dirty cops at the FBI, right, who actually had an FBI investigation going into the President of the United States based on information the Democrats gave them. This time, at least, we've got adults over at the DOJ and FBI, so there's not an investigation going on, okay? So you've got the Congress, the Democrats in Congress, who are using this to feed their never-ending impeachment appetite. Remember, they went out and poisoned the American people. They've got their base poisoned on this.
That's right.
So much so that they have to keep pouring jet fuel on their base to keep money coming in.
Unbelievable.
And so, that's what's really going on here,
And real quick before you go, when is the IG FISA abuse report coming out? Are we ever going to actually focus on the real wrongdoing? Yeah,
well, look, the IG report is finished. It's going through a declassification process now.
All right.
Remember when the Mueller report came out? It took roughly, it took about a month or so?
Yeah.
So my guess is it's going to take somewhere around a month.
Okay.
And look, and the difference, remember the Mueller report was also fantasy. That was just garbage, right? That we poked holes on that. What the IG is doing is been done with professionals. It's not been politicized, so it might take even longer to actually go through and unredact and make it available for the American people.
Well, I think part of this whole charade is they looked at the stage of the Democratic hopefuls and said, you know what? Trump is going to win again. We got to impeach him now, whatever it takes. Congressman.
Yeah, well, actually, they've said that.
Yeah,
Some of the members of Congress have said that.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
All right.
Devin Nunes joining us there in Washington.